Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MFC Lightweight Mukai Maromo. Mukai, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Mukai, you got a fight coming up August 10th at MFC 34. It's a rematch against Adam Lin, but this time the stakes are a little bit higher. It's for the MFC Lightweight title. How's training been going for the fight?
Training's been awesome, actually. I feel a lot better than I've been in my past fights and everything, so this is shaping out to be, one of the best fights I'm going to have in my career thus far.
Let's look back at the first fight at MFC 33. When they announced the decision that you had won, you kind of looked shocked. You were surprised that you got the win. Looking back on it now, do you feel that you won the fight?
I definitely feel I won the fight. I might have had a bit of a different look on my face because at the moment, he stopped me really good in the first round. And to be honest with you, I've said the numbers times in a bunch of different interviews. I didn't remember any of the second round. You know what I mean? So, so to me, because I came out into the third round, I remember sitting on the stool and I was talking to my corner guy. And he's like, we got one more round. You do exactly what you did in that round. You're gonna win this one. And he's like, what? I thought we were in the second round. He's like, no, it's the third. So in my mind, I was missing a round. So I was trying to recap what had happened and trying to remember everything. I wasn't even, in the ring at the time. I was mentally somewhere else, and then I heard them announce it. I was like, oh, okay, right, and after I sat down and watched it, I definitely gave myself the fight because in my head I'd lost the second one for sure because he definitely dominated me in that one. But I'd won the round I just fought, which was the third, so I wasn't sure how that it turned out. But after I watched the footage myself, I definitely saw that I won the second and third round, so I had myself winning.
Just curious, how many times have you watched the first fight?
More than enough. I can't even count it now. It's one of those fights that it taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from it, and I think I'm going to be watching it for many times to come.
After watching the fight, what do you think you did right, and what are some areas that you think that you could have improved on?
I was a little sensitive at the beginning, which allowed him to kind of throw a couple strikes and land what he did. After that, I really opened up and started dominating all the stand-up exchanges. I was not landing most of my punches, landing the kicks, elbows, and knees and everything. And if I come up with that same strategy where it's just punches and punches, or combinations, transitioning from punches to elbows to kicks to knees and that sort of thing, it really wouldn't have given him the opening he had to throw that really good left hook in the first round, which was the only really meaningful offense he had in most of the fight besides that hook and that cut in the first round. The rest of it was just some lackluster takedowns and then next to no offense on the ground and then stand up and kind of repeat the whole process. So I think if I stayed busy like I did in the last two rounds, I definitely would win. It'd be a straightforward win for me for sure.
You mentioned that cut that was on the side of your head that he opened up with an elbow. How bad was this cut? Was it a cut where, it just looked a little bit bad on TV, it really wasn't that bad, or was this, a really serious cut?
It wasn't a bad cut at all. I didn't even feel that I'd been cut until, I remember looking around the ring the one time. I was like, I wonder if this is my blood or his. It didn't hurt at all until the corner guy, was kind of patching up again in between rounds, I was like, oh, I guess it's me. And it wasn't that big, but when you're in that situation and your blood's pumping, your heart's racing, your adrenaline, you got that adrenaline dump in your body, your blood flows really fast, and so it keeps coming out, right, because it doesn't coagulate and clot or anything. So it looked a lot worse than it was, but again, it was a well-placed hit by him too. So hats off to him, but it didn't really do much, Now looking forward to this fight, has it been easier training for him because, you've been in there once before with him, you know what he brings, or has it been harder preparing for the fight because he knows what you're going to be doing? What exactly has it been preparing for the fight-wise? It's been a lot easier, actually, because, it reminds me of my Muay Thai days. You know exactly what the opponent is bringing, but at the same time, to be able to counter what I'm going to be bringing is no easy task, So I know what he's got. Every time we're standing up, it wasn't much of an offense he put up. It was mostly defensive, and I was landing good kicks, good punches on him, So if I stick because originally I overestimated him as an opponent. I thought he was going to have some really good shoot takedowns from the outside, but he hardly had any of those. The only takedowns he got were after you were getting a bunch of exchanges, and then he kind of had me up against the ropes, and he kind of latch on and gradually drag me down. So I overestimated him as a shooting takedown kind of guy, like a really good wrestler. So his wrestling is not as good as I had originally anticipated. So that's actually in my favor. So it makes it a lot easier of a fight for me, to be quite honest with you.
A lot of people feel like in that fight that he was robbed, that he had done enough to earn a decision over you. Do you feel that now in this fight that you need a finish? Because who knows, it might be the other way this time around. A lot of people might think that you're winning and should get a decision, and then maybe the judges will side with him. Do you feel that, maybe, hey, I need to go in there and finish because something similar could happen to me?
I definitely always look for the finish,
Yeah.
And if I don't get the finish, I'm trying to get it all the way to the end. I don't think I've ever kind of just coasted to a win, all the way to the end of the bell. I'm throwing punches, kicks, knees, with everything behind him. So I'm always looking for the finish. And this fight's like, no, it's like every other fight. I'm looking for the finish, but at the same time, I'm not gonna pressure myself to kind of rush in and make mistakes and look for a big knockout and open myself up and get caught myself. Because he's a really good fighter. To have gotten that decision over him was a really big achievement. He's a well-accomplished fighter, 17-9. He was riding a 6 or 7 fight win streak. He's fighting really high-level shows, fighting high-level competition. So to rush in against a guy like that and think you're just going to kind of just walk in there and throw a couple bombs and get a knockout is the rest of disaster in itself. You gotta come in cool, calculated, and pick your openings and make some openings happen for yourself and get the knockout if you can. But to rush into it, I guess a seasoned fight is always a mistake. But definitely always looking for the knockout with this guy.
This fight's going to be a 5-round fight. It's for the title. Have you done something different with your training, cardio-wise, or are you just doing the same stuff, just doing a little bit more of it?
I've changed up a number of different things, but at the same time, I've never had a fight where I looked, completely drained and gassed out. So it wasn't a matter of changing my whole regimen, but rather adding something else onto it, so I can have more of a gas tank in order to be able to do 5 rounds, right? So I kept a lot of the same things that I do that work really well for me, and add a number of different things. So adjusting the way your training regimen, where if you're doing pad work or grappling or some sparring, instead of doing the usual 5, 6, 7 rounds, now you're doing 10, 11, 12 rounds. You know what I mean? So you compensate on what you're actually going to be doing. As opposed to just running longer distances, I'm actually working in a fight-based environment, whether it's sparring or grappling, or doing pad work or ring work or bag work for a much longer period of time. So I can get that movement down pat. So it's a more natural movement, and it takes a lot less energy to do it. So I can do it for a longer period of time. So.
For a while, the MFC has gone back and forth. We're going to a cage, but we're going to stick with the ring. Now we'll go to the cage, we'll stick with the ring. They've been going back and forth. They've been doing a lot of flip-flopping. Now they've said that they're going to stick with the ring. Coming from a Muay Thai background, that's got to make you happy, right?
It makes me definitely very, very happy. I love the ring. The cage has a lot of advantages that some people don't, they don't factor in. If you corner someone up against the cage, takedowns become a lot easier, and strategically, it becomes easier to hold the person down and fight. First, the being taken down, you can use the cage as a wall and kind of place yourself and start resisting and defending takedowns and that sort of thing, right? So the cage itself can actually be used as a weapon by well-experienced fighters who knows what they're doing. So I think the ring and the ropes they kind of nullify a lot, where you can't really sit up against the ropes because you fall through them, and it makes it easier for you to get taken down. So you have to use a lot of footwork, and you have to actually fight. You know what I mean? So I like the ring a lot better.
The owner of the MFC, Mark Pavlich, your boss, I've seen a bunch of interviews he's done, and every time he brings you up, he never has anything bad to say about you. There's a lot of guys that he talks about, he praises them, but then, he comes with a little bit of criticism. For you, I've never heard him say anything bad about that. What does it mean for you to have your boss be such a big fan of you?
I think it helps to have your boss like you.
Yeah.
You can't be someone who your boss hates, because that can't be good for business. So it definitely helps a lot. It helps a lot, and then that the person who's behind my career and in charge of kind of booking my next couple fights has that kind of confidence in me, has nothing bad to say. On the flip side, though, I do like criticism from time to time, because it helps you improve, and it shows your loopholes and your openings. But I mean, nobody's ever. I'm not the kind of guy to kind of turn down praise when it's given, So I definitely love it. Yeah.
Does it ever get to you? I gotta perform for this guy because he said all this good stuff about me.
Not really. I hold myself to a high standard, so I appreciate him saying that, and it definitely gives me a lot more exposure. And for people who haven't seen me fight, who haven't heard of me, it definitely creates a bit of a buzz or a sensation to want to see me. So I definitely appreciate that. But at the same time, as being a fighter and a competitor for most of my life, it's I don't really, I don't really put myself on the chopping block and kind of, have high expectations for performance from myself. I just go in there and relax and comfortable, and I set a game plan that's got, room for adjustment and improvement, and I implement it. If I go in there trying to stand with a guy and he turns out to be pretty good on the stand-up side of things, I might revert to a little bit more Thai boxing, like break the distance and use more kicks and knees, or the distance, use more my clinch and elbows, or just depends on what's going on. So either way, and it helps that I'm from a more type background, so it makes it hard to have a boring fight, because from that kind of fight, you're taught to never back up, you know what I mean? Even when you do take a back step, it's not a big step, it's more of a counter-measuring, and you always keep that distance to be engaged to fight. So the way I've learned to fight is like a high-paced, entertaining, always bring the fight kind of style, and there's never any breaks, because I don't remember ever watching a fight of mine and being bored, calling it a boring fight, even when I've won and lost, or even the last fight with Adam, right? The only bad thing that came from was a lot of criticism about, it looked like a bad decision, but as a fight, it was a very exciting fight. You know what I mean? Some hard kicks, some hard punches. We exchanged this, some takedowns that stood up. He took me down in reverse. So it was a very exciting fight. So the only thing I really worry about when I go in there is just sticking to my game plan and making the necessary, adjustments. But other than that, I know it's going to be exciting.
Mukai, if you defeat Adam Lin, you'll be the first Canadian fighter to win the lightweight title. How much would that mean to you, to be the first?
It means the world to me right now. That's all there is to me right now. It's the biggest thing I've done with my fight career so far, and that's all there is right now. That's all I can focus on, and I've been focusing on for the past couple weeks is this fight and getting this win. So this is it for me right now.
Mukai, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, for sure. Sponsors are the other guys who make this happen, to be quite honest with you. Fighters, you just like the end product. You show up when we fight on the 10th, and we've been doing all this training behind me at the doors, but, there's somebody who facilitates that whole process. Somebody who pays for you to be able to fly here and train here and to be able to not, go to work and just train. So definitely big shout out to Crystal Glass. That's my biggest sponsor, biggest glass company out in Western Canada. Edmonton Rush, very good lacrosse team out of Edmonton. St. Pete's Gentlemen's Club, Crush Ultra Lounge, Union Hall, B&G Glass. Then we also got Jayco's doing my shorts for this fight, so big shout out to those guys. And MFC, if they weren't putting on these fights, I wouldn't be fighting these fights. I wouldn't have this tremendous opportunity right now. So, much love to Mark Pavlich and the whole MFC family out there. And, even the media guys like you guys, give us exposure and give guys time to get on there and kind of, get a chance to speak out and be heard, because most of the time, people want to see you fight, and then you only get that little 5 minutes afterwards just to kind of say what you got to say, but you got a lot of emotions going on, you're tired, you got the adrenaline, it's kind of, thanks for blah, 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 and you never get hurt, so definitely much love to you guys for giving the fighters a voice, too.
Mukai, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck August 10th at MFC 34 against Adam Lin.
Awesome, appreciate it, and thanks a lot for having me. And just anybody who wants to follow me on my Twitter, African Assassin, African with a K, on Facebook, it's my first and last name, Mukai Maromo. Definitely appreciate the love, and look forward to MFC 34.